Hi, and welcome to a Popetti Math YouTube video tutorial where I'm going to be teaching you, yes, you, Algebra 1. And in this lesson, we are going to continue on from lesson number 1, which was an intro to statistics. And if you haven't seen that video, I suggest you go back and watch those videos on exercises 1, 2, 3, and 4. If not, you're ready to begin box and whisker plots, which takes that 5-number summary that we talked about in the previous lesson and makes a graph or a visual representation out of it. So we're going to use that to construct our box and whisker plots. And in exercise number 1, we have a box and whisker plot shown, and it shows the test scores of a class of algebra students. It tells you that your minimum value was 70, your first quartile was 81, which is represented right here. So let's label this graph actually. So we have our minimum value is this part of the box and whisker plot. Our first quartile is represented by the first line or the first left side of the box. Our median is 86. Our median is the middle line inside the box. So this is going to be our median. And our third quartile is the right side of the box. That's going to be Q3. And finally, the whisker that goes to the right, that's going to be our maximum value. So these are the 5 numbers in the 5-number summary shown on a box and whisker plot right here. So it wants to know what was the highest score and the lowest score. Well, just by looking at this 5-number summary, we know that the highest score is the maximum. So the highest score was a 90. And we know that the lowest score was a 70. Okay, explain the median in the context of the problem. So the median, let's take a look at what it was. The median right here, it says the median was 86. And this means, so let's think about a median. A median cuts your data set in half, which means that half the class scored higher than an 86 and half scored lower than an 86. Okay, so again, the median was 86, and this means that half the class scored higher than an 86 and half the class scored lower than an 86. Which section has the most data values? So let's change up the color here, right, like that. And let's call this section 1. This one will be section 2. This one will be section 3. And this one will be section 4. So which one of these sections has the most data values? And then explain. So by looking at this graph, you might have said that section 1 has the most data values. But this is actually a trick question, because if the median cuts the data in half, that means there's an equal number of values in the bottom half and the top half. Okay, but just like that, if the first quartile cuts the bottom half in half, that means there's equal numbers here and here. And the third quartile cuts the top half in half, so there's equal numbers there and there. So there's actually equal numbers of data points in all 4 of these sections. This section is longer than the others because these data values are more spread out. But there's not more of them, they're just more spread out. And it says which section has the most data values. They all have the same. Because each section is evenly, excuse my handwriting, split according to the data. And again, if you wanted to write that in section 1, the reason why it's larger is because those numbers are just more spread out, that's perfectly okay to write as well. Okay, so if this video on just looking at a box and whisker plot and a 5-number summary and answering questions on it based on those two things was helpful to you, please give this video a thumbs up so I know that this video helped you out in Algebra 1. Now you're ready to go on to exercise number 2, and you could go ahead and you could click the link to exercise number 2.